So that's setting up for the showings. One of my big takeaways for getting ready for the showings is, again, make sure your client is ready to write offers. Make sure your client is going to be comfortable and dressed appropriately for the experience. So that's getting ready for the showings. Again, the more time you prep, the smoother the actual experience is going to go. Cool. Okay, so let's talk about having the showings. So we've got the right footwear, we've got the right weather appropriate apparel. Part of being effective in showings is make sure that you are removing all other barriers to the client being comfortable. In addition to that, depending on the time of day, you might also want to plan to stop off for coffee, because some people have a crash, or if they're not caffeinated properly, they get into a really bad mood. So again, I'm just trying to remove obstacles to them being in a good mood. If the client has a baby or a child or an aged parent that needs to come with them, make sure you have a conversation about how to accommodate that factor. When's baby's nap time? We don't want to try to plan our showings like in the middle of baby's nap time, because now they're going to be paying attention to trying to nap their baby on the go. Nobody likes napping their baby on the go. Or if we've got an elderly parent with mobility issues, okay, book a little more time to make sure that we've got those mobility issues taken care of. So like, what other obstacles to being comfortable do we need to manage? Because again, every single thing that's going to put the client in an uncomfortable mood will put the client in a bad mood, will put the client in a no mood. We don't want no moods, we want yes moods. People who are caffeinated, hydrated, well-fed, awake, and happy like to say yes to things. So we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success by setting up those factors. It does also build into trust. If they feel like they're safe and taken care of, and you're minding the details for stuff that isn't as important, quote unquote, they're like, okay, this person takes care of the details in terms of making sure that I'm hydrated, caffeinated, and fed. They're probably going to take care of the details when it comes time to drafting my paperwork too. Yeah. So it does extend to the experience. Now, this is where things are going to diverge a little bit. So I'll talk about Edmonton versus Vancouver. In Edmonton, we have those blue lock boxes. So when we are going to the house, make sure that you've got the app on your phone. You push the lock box, you kind of use the app, beep, 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 the keys get spit out. Now, what I like to do is I like to open the door to the house, take off my shoes right away. I like to do this fast, because then I like to say to the client, you guys get comfortable and take off your shoes. I like to go ahead, scout out the house, and turn on all the lights, especially considering it gets dark at 4 p.m. or it's cloudy and gray. We're at a time of year where the house is going to feel dark, basically, no matter what you do. So we want to make sure we turn all the lights on. In Vancouver, we are going to meet the selling realtor, have some pleasant chit chat with the selling realtor. The selling realtor is going to let us into the house. If the selling realtor has their service game locked in, they are going to have already turned the lights on and gotten the house ready. If the realtor doesn't, you might have to do that. And when I'm touring my clients around the house, the words that I am saying and the information I am conveying isn't pointing out the obvious. Don't point out the obvious. What does that mean? Like, this is the kitchen. Check out the living room. Oh my God, we're in the bedroom. Like, okay, cool. Like, that will actually distract the client away from looking at the property and making a buying. So it's much better if you're a silent facilitator than if you are pointing out the obvious. You don't want to be a distraction to them liking the house. Instead, you want to keenly observe what they're doing and then prompt them with questions. How do you like this kitchen? How does this kitchen compare to what you want in your dream kitchen? What do you think of the flow? And then I also ask them questions that directly pertain to their criteria. Is this bedroom sufficient for your home office? How do you feel about this as a kid's room? Do you think this is a guest room that would work for your guests? How do you like this view off of the patio? Does this kitchen have the kind of open layout you were describing to me in our meeting? Ask them questions about how the property pertains to their criteria. Don't point out the obvious. A lot of the advice that I've been giving you guys in this conversation is specifically geared around how to find somebody a property they want to buy in fewer showings and making sure they find a place they really love. That's the point. So does anybody have any questions? Okay, that's a quick intro to showings. It's the fun part of real estate.